Hello. Today is Tuesday, January 24th, 2023. My name is John. I'm an alcoholic. So the first thing I'm going to do a little bit of a shake-up here and have segments. So if there's a segment that you don't like, you could just skip it. The first one is going to be my life update, which is what, initially started this whole recording stuff. So I am now 2 weeks sober. And AA is tonight again, my second time, and I'm going to be going. So yeah, that's good. I feel great. I'm on the new medication called Effexor, and I think I'm going to be taking 2 in the morning, which they're 75 milligrams each, and then 2 later on in the day. And I got to follow up on the 17th of February to finalize that and talk to the doctor and tell him what I think is working and what's not. So I don't have any side effects or anything, so I think it's working, but I'm just not sure. I'm still taking a lot of that kava root. And my sister, Sarah, did say that be careful that I'm changing one substance for the other. And that is true. I've been spending a lot of money on these kava drinks, like a lot of money. But the way I look at it is I'm paying for my sobriety because I'm still sober. It doesn't mess me up or anything. I can drive on it. It's illegal. I just like the way that it chills me out, and it makes it to where I don't crave any alcohol at all. Like at all. I haven't had any cravings since I've been taking this kava. So, I also think that I need to change my phone number and my email because my dad sent me this job postings board of jobs, and before you know it, you click on one and then it asks you to sign up, and then you sign up for another one, sign up for another, and next thing you know, I've got 500 emails that are unread and 20 text messages that are unread, and they just keep coming. So I think it's they sold my information to all of their business partners, and now they're all bugging me about anything you can think of, right? So I think I need to change my phone number. Hopefully it doesn't cost too much. I can easily get a new email. But yeah, okay, so that's my life update. I'm feeling good. I'm sleeping well. And I just generally have good thoughts, and I'm optimistic for the first time in a long time. This next topic is going to be today's nerd topic, where I go over something really nerdy. So today is going to be my top 10 video games in no particular order. Video game franchises in no particular order. So number 1, which is no surprise to anybody, it's the Dark Souls franchise. I'm including Elden Ring and Bloodborne in there. Not so much Sekiro, but because they're all very mechanically the same, even though they're technically different games. So Dark Souls, number 1, is a masterpiece, and it's funny that everybody says it's a masterpiece, but it's only for half the game. As soon as you beat Ornstein and Smough and get the Lord Vessel, the rest of the game is not as fun, because it's like they've got rushed to finish the game, and a lot of it seems unfinished. Even knowing that, though, I still play it, I still love it, and it's still one of my favorite games of all time. Dark Souls 2 gets a lot of shit for it not being as good as Dark Souls 1, or even made by Miyazaki. I still love that game. I still put hundreds of hours into it, despite its slower, clunkier, and just generally not as good. But I still love it. It's still a Dark Souls game. It's still better than 99% of other games out there, okay? Dark Souls 3 just basically learned from Bloodborne, and it was faster and more efficient, and it's probably the best Souls game. Probably the best Dark Souls game out there. I've also put hundreds of hours into that, too. Bloodborne, I put hundreds of hours into that game, although it's a whole different aesthetic. I don't like it as much as dark medieval fantasy, but the dark, cryptic, eldritch horror Victorian era is something that's also very cool, right? And the trick weapons are very cool. Elden Ring, what can I say about Elden Ring? I haven't beaten it yet. I'm still fighting Radahn. I also haven't been playing it very much, but oh my god, it is the best game of the year, and it did get the best game of the year award at the Game Awards. So anyway, that would be my number 1. Number 2 is going to be Castlevania. I like the Metroidvania. Castlevania is better than the linear hard ones, which is fine. I own all of them with the Legacy Collection and everything like that. Castlevania Bloodlines for the Sega was really cool. Rondo of Blood was really cool, which was the last, like, linear one. All of them are good except for the ones on the Nintendo 64. Those ones kind of suck, even though I played them. So there's even a couple on PlayStation 2, which were pretty good as well. But I don't like the Lords of the Fallen, or whatever they're called, Lords of Shadow, where they basically just made it God of War, but it was Castlevania. And they ripped off a bunch of other games, like God of War and Shadow of the Colossus, and they didn't do any of them particularly well. So I like the Metroidvania ones, and my all-time favorite one is Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Now that game is perfect, and it has the best soundtrack of any video game ever, and I challenge you to prove me wrong. Castlevania Symphony of the Night has such a cool soundtrack and just aesthetic. Yes, it's dated looking now. I would like them to remake it like they did with the Final Fantasy VII treatment, but keep it 2D, right? So even the ones on the Game Boy and the Game Boy Advance, Game Boy DS, as long as they're Metroidvania, they're great. And there is a Game Boy Advance collection as well for the modern consoles. So any game that you get to play is Alucard, which is Dracula's son. It's funny, Alucard is Dracula backwards, right? It's cool in my book. Even Vampire Hunter D, which was an anime, very cool. If you haven't seen it, very cool. The second one, Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust, I think. Number 3, StarCraft. StarCraft. I spent many nights playing StarCraft. 1, Brood Wars, and not so much 2, but mostly Brood Wars. 2 took them way too long to come out with, but I did play them. I'm only going to say this once. The best race is Protoss. Hands down, Protoss. You can't compete with Protoss otherwise. They're dope. They're awesome. That's my go-to. I don't even play any other race. They're great, and I really miss the real-time strategy games. There used to be a whole bunch of them, and now they don't make them anymore. I don't really know why. Number 4, The Legend of Zelda. Of course, that's going to be on my list. The Legend of Zelda, most particularly Ocarina of Time, to a lesser extent Majora's Mask, and Twilight Princess. Twilight Princess gets a bad rap, but it's actually a really great game. It's probably my second favorite one to Ocarina of Time. Now, what can you really say about Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess, all the 3D ones? They're great. Probably my favorite game for a very long time was Ocarina of Time, and I beat it several different times. In fact, if I had a 64, I would play it right now. It is a great story. It's fun mechanically. Everything about it is cool. And I didn't know anything basically about Zelda except for the top-down original game, which it was okay when I was younger. So yeah, that's number 4. Number 5 is Diablo. Diablo 1 and Diablo 2. And Diablo 3. You know, Diablo 3 was pretty good, but it's not as good as Diablo 2, that's for sure. I love the Diablo franchise. I remember just playing with my friend Diablo 1 and just going through the dungeons and getting better loot, fighting that butcher, fighting that skeleton king. They kind of sucked all the fun out of it with Diablo 3, though, and they made it look more cartoony, and it's not a bad game, though. In fact, there is a game that's free to play on Xbox and PlayStation computer called Path of Exile. Now that is basically Diablo 2.5, and it's better than Diablo 3 in my opinion, and it's completely free to play. I never once felt like they were trying to milk money out of me. It's great. And if you haven't played it, I would really recommend you play it. Play it with friends. Number 6 would be the Elder Scrolls. Specifically Oblivion and Skyrim. So, Skyrim, it's been done to death. Who hasn't played Skyrim? It is fantastic. I want to talk more about Oblivion, because Oblivion came out before, and it's just as good. Any game that I can play for thousands of hours and fall asleep while I'm walking in the forest listening to the beautiful music, only to wake up and I'm dead or I'm running into a rock, that's a good game in my opinion. The same thing happens to me in The Witcher. So everything about Oblivion is just really good. So if you haven't played Oblivion and you have access to an Xbox, it can't be that much money now, maybe $20. Pick it up, play it, instead of playing Skyrim for the 20th time, okay? Oblivion is just as good, if not better. I like the story campaigns better, like the Brotherhood campaigns. They're all really, really good. The Mages campaign, also really, really good. So that's my number 6. Number 7 is going to be a bit of a change. It's going to be Marvel vs. Capcom. Fighting game. The only game where you can have Spider-Man fight Mega Man, and it's great. You know, we can have Ryu versus Ghost Rider, right? Very cool. I like number 2 and number 3 the best. Number 1 was good, but you couldn't have teams of 3. So number 2 is the best one, I think, in my opinion. Number 3 is great too. I just remember playing with Joe. The match was coming down to whoever could hit the last person. It was me, Spider-Man, versus him, Ken. And I was going in for a drop kick, and then he did his freaking, like, uppercut thing and won. So that was the closest match I can think of that I ever had. Joe is so much better at that game than I am, so I can't even really compete with him now. But when we played number 2, it was definitely a lot of fun. So that was my number 7. Number 8 is XCOM. Specifically XCOM 2, War of the Chosen. Now this is one of my favorite turn-based strategy games. It is really freaking good because you can customize what everybody looks like, and it's all up to you on whether you succeed or fail, right? It's so good. You're fighting the alien race. You upgrade your weapons. You're fighting these 3 Chosens, which they show up randomly, and they have different attributes as you go along. So it is a different game every time you play it, for the most part. You know, the missions are random. They show up randomly. It's a very good game. If you like slower-paced tactical stuff, I would recommend it. It is one of my favorite games. It is way up there. I played the first one, but it's just not the same. I like the XCOM 2 a lot better. XCOM 2 Vanilla is fine, but if you can spring for the War of the Chosen DLC, definitely do that, because it's good. That was my number 8. Number 9 is a game called Dead Cells. That's a newer game. It is a roguelike where you run through dungeons as fast as you can. You get random weapons and random upgrades. And yeah, it's just so much fun. You're playing this guy without a head, and you go in. Every run is different because you're trying to get through it as fast as possible to get to the good stuff. And it's the replayability of that is great. And I just found out coming out, they're going to have a sequel for Dead Cells, and it's called Return to Castlevania. So I'm going to definitely be playing that one. I don't look forward to most games nowadays. I actually don't even really play video games as much as I used to. But I'm definitely going to check that one out and play that one. So that was number 9. Number 10, no list would be complete without our favorite portly plumber, Mario. So I'm going to say specifically Super Mario 3 and Super Mario World. Super Mario World was, the Super Nintendo was the first console that me and my sister ever got. And I played it all night until my eyes stung. And I remember telling my mom, I was like, my eyes sting, Mom. And she's like, we should probably close them, honey. um, love that game. Super Mario World might be my favorite Mario game, but Mario 3 is super good too. And there's a reason why people make that one a number one as well, because just the way it looks, the way it plays. There's never been a Mario like it since. So, yeah. So, what am I gonna say about Mario? Right? That nobody has. It's been said to death. So, Mario 3 and Super Mario World, definitely really good games. I wish that I had like a little NES port, like a little NES, little mini, just to play Mario 3, or a Super Nintendo Mini, just so I could play Super Mario World. Because every once in a while you get those urges to just want to play Mario, right? Anyway, so that was my list on today in nerd history, or nerd topic. That's all I have for you for today. I think what I'll do is I'll do a song of the day, and then I might even do like, I'll sing a part of a song and see if you can guess it or not. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. I do want to make this a habit. I do still need to grab my computer out there, because then I can start doing like videos and pictures overlaying instead of you just looking at my ugly mug for 15 minutes at a time. So, yeah, I'm going to be going to AA here shortly, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.